Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to go ahead and do the weekly look into the unknown, the psychic medium reading about obscurities. And there's a huge block this week where we just can't get through anything that we need to push forward on or get anything done. Or maybe, like, as I say, a go for it or a go to go. And when you say it, you just can't even do it hard enough. So let's see exactly like what this block entails. It really is not in front of our nose and we can't really see past it, but it's definitely there. We can't push forward, we can't go back, and we just can't do. We just can't do. So, what is this problem? It feels like a lock, but it's not. A lock feels very different when you can't push anything forward. A lock for someone who even just has instinct, intuition, just a little bit of psychic abilities, that it would feel like you're in a rat race. But you know, it just is not in the rat race right now. It has something to do with greed. So when I say greed, it is this, but in reality, it really has something about dishonor. This is all it wants us to know. It has to do with a partnership. I wouldn't put it as anything political of like a bipartisan or anything like that, but I would have to say this. It really is this like Five of Pentacles in reverse. It really is. When you see this and you see this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, there was no prudency, but there is an alleviation from loss. I feel like it's something that's brewing, something that has been in the media, especially how we watched the news with the deportations and how President Trump was in Michigan. That has to do with the type of securement. And when we look at this, and I want to say, you know, knock it out, it really has to go with this whole thing that you can't do, that you just can't do whatsoever. When I look at it completely, and every time you turn around and you have to say, what were you into? What were you doing? What was going on that we can't get anything done? Then it goes to, why are we yelling at our family members like this? We have never ever like done anything to this degree. We have never been in this animosity. So as we say, it really, I feel, is pertinent to what has actually happened. It really is no victory, but there is a securement and it is a rush of emotions. So, as we say here in Connecticut, Ansonia made national news, and it was a finality of relief because it was a show. It was something, it was a wish fulfilled about something that I could see was an expectant mother who could not get out of the house, but dignity was highly impeded at that moment. We have to say that there's something like haywire going on with this incident. I am seeing something that is just like a fly by night, but it's highly like slow onset to the point where it's so quick with a pop off that it's grandiose thoughts, and it has restlessness, and they pace back and forth like a terminal like restlessness, and it's highly reckless. Terminal restlessness is usually like at end of life, and they're just pacing, agitated, back forth, and then they're there, right there. When I'm seeing this, it really does sit fine with the Queen of Pentacles, and it has a lot of feminine energy. I feel like it has something to do with the Pope actually passing away. He was from Argentina. I feel like there's a lot of disrupt with Latin Americans, Central Americans, and South Americans right now over these issues. So when I'm looking at this to the highest extent of like a doorway, I'm looking at it as like you have to knock on the framing and then actually like wash down the door, and then you actually have to like let it sit. And otherwise, you just like have this. Some people might actually be very clairaudient and clairgustient, which means they can hear it and smell it and up to taste it. It's almost urine, so it's a little bit of Santeria. So there we go. We chiseled it away. It was actually a little bit easier than what we thought, at least for today. But let's look at the poker cards. Here we go. Four of spades. It is a working together. It usually is in 4s to 8s to a 1912. So when I go back to 1912, around World War One, it goes back to the highest grace where planting flowers was ill. When you see this in the Nine of Diamonds, it's almost like when you go to visit your mother's or your grandmother's on Mother's Day. You literally see this Ace of Spades come in and say there's certain flowers that you actually have to bring to help like keep curses away. When you three the diamonds, the Ace of Spades with the Three of Diamonds to the Jack of Diamonds, it's a group, and I say no more than probably like 3 to 5 people. It's really easy, really, really easy. There we go. Here we go. What do we need to see about this? Usually with Santeria, if it is around you or cast out to you, you're not going to do well. You're going to be very sleepy. You're not going to eat well. You're going to be forgetful, and you're going to be in a block. All the cards fell out. So basically, it doesn't want us to know. It's supposed to be a mystery. So let's look at this a little bit further. What actually fell out? Here we go. So here we go. They wanted this to be shown and known. This Three of Wands, the Ten of Swords with the Three of Wands, you're not to foresee it. It's supposed to be right there. The Knight of Swords actually is like, you look at the soil, you can't even believe it. It's like the Knight of Swords is the undercut of the soil. To the Three of Cups, where you can't even have a celebration. To the Two of Swords, it really is like this crossroads of an unbeknownst, but it really is like a type of decision making that has like a two-way street. There we go. So let's look through the crystal quartz. It really is already known, NOAN. It is a curse out of Santeria. It has to go right to your bones. It goes right to your bones, to the way you almost have GI symptoms. When you go to have GI symptoms, then you have urinary symptoms. And then when you have urinary symptoms, like you go to a doctor and there is no symptoms, or it's like a UTI infection that just won't go away, all the way up to like the bone of like your jaw or your arm or down your spine, to even I've seen some in the foot. So when you actually go through it into the highest extent, like I know it and they just don't know, and they think I'm just someone who comes into a doctor trying to get something and I'm just not getting it right. Let's look at the Starseed Oracle for intuition. I see knocks on the door around like 9 o'clock usually. And it's really not putting down someone who does Santeria. They're allowed to practice it, but it's always motive and intent. This really is like this creativity that came through that's causing this block. And when you look at it, it has to say like spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. I feel that's a little bit of trolling. And when you see it, you literally have to say you're like out in outer space when it happens. And when you see it, you're like, it's at rest and you have to be careful. So when you see it, there's like a lot of protection around those people who spiritually are like connected to Santeria. But it really goes back to the song Santeria, where he really pops off and he just going to get his gun and he's just done. He's just done with whoever stole his wife in that song. And it sounds so heinous, but it causes conflict because it has Orion energy. Orion with that constellation, it frays out. So I feel like they're using the wrong element at times, and it really goes to show how well you have to know your chemistry to your elements, to your media, like your liquids, your solids, your roots, and your leaves, on doing it naturally, because you can do Santeria without urine. So when you look at this and you say there are hidden secrets and lost wisdom, a little deeper, you have to go, wait, things are being woven. It really goes to show if you are practicing something of that like specific way of magic, that you have to let yourself be seen with this. It's kind of odd. It's kind of odd. All right, let's look at the Literary Witches Oracle. I feel like there's something in candles when they go and they meditate and connect that's not correct to the whole practice, that makes it ill. So again, I see hedgehog. That came out a lot last night. I see ghost. I see fantasy. I don't feel like they're connecting correctly, but they're effective with an upon and within. It really makes them really crazy. Transformation, absolutely. Absolutely. And whoever it goes toward, or whether the block. It's something of dictating a future too. And when you see pond, you just have to go, like, give it a go. You have to give it a go. Like, the visions of those who have it are usually so not in reality, that you can't understand why all of a sudden they would have that. So it is like this too much, like a looking inward. And then when you have hedgehog again paired with it, it really is hiding motive and intent. So you really got to know whoever is practicing this really well, if they're actually going to follow law also. Here we go. Let's look at the Pleiadian Oracle. This goes to the rule of three, and that goes to Wicca. And when it goes to Wicca with the rule of three, you really have to know that it boils down to, is it your fight? Is it something that you're going to take on for the rest of your soul life, potentially? If you're protecting the innocent and young lives to animals, to the elderly, you have to be really careful, because it almost becomes into a devil's advocate, and you can actually show it as almost like it goes into a type of racketeering. And literally, that devil's advocate could be your entire soul existence, whoever you're going it towards. So when I see this, it like they put, like, I hate to say words in your head to words in your mouth, and it's just constantly whoever's doing it with ill. And it have these odd dreams that come in like opaque, about union, about marriages, even to contracts. And like it's like you can't even make it up with Star Royalty card. And then you see this, It's almost a pinpoint dot to a point of like a dolphin play where it's like static. When I see static as an LPN with someone's health who maybe encountered as ill Santeria, they have a bad gait to almost a Parkinson's like shake. Here we go. Let's look at Animal Spirit Oracle. We need to know what these like golden egg and black egg to cosmic egg is. There's something of a messenger that will bring it a little bit further down. It will be something that really stings hard with a scorpion. But when I see whale, you can't even make it up whatsoever. It just falls right apart. There's something about whales with frequency and hertz and the way that they communicate through water that you can't get a known to a noun. That it goes right through the earth almost. So with that being said, it really does not want to divulge with this picture of the mouse. It really has to mean like a go slow with that. But let's see if we can actually get it out of another tarot. There we go. It has to do with minerals. It has to do with food. It has to do with health. And it has to do with like a reestablishment. It's a lock. It is a gold. It is something that you can see. It is tangible. The Two of Wands, it is not what you thought would actually be those eggs. It is like far out of this world, the Celestial Weaver. And when you see it, it's the Ten of Wands in reverse. It does alleviate a burden. It is in direct relation to Santeria and Wicca to a degree. But when you see this and you see Knight of Pentacles, it really is like a young author. And it goes straight forward like this, but turns. And it's like a wrong like screw where you're trying to get it out. So when you see Knight of Wands, it's not going to charge through. And it is your fulfilled wishes that they say about those eggs. But the Page of Swords literally means like it's just too much and too young, that it actually gets you in trouble. You got to be careful. So it really will be a little bit too dictative when it comes through about what those eggs mean. But that's really all the obscurities that are going on for tonight. So with that being said, any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated. An email, and we'll talk to you soon.